Hi everyone, it's Ryan here and I'm going to do a quick video on resilience. So we'll be doing weekly resilience sessions on Wednesday night. That's going to be 8 o'clock South African time or 11 o'clock Pacific time. And why are we doing these sessions? It's anyone's guess. Of course, there's huge stress out there to varying degrees. We're all experiencing either collective or personal stress. And the reason that we need to explore resilience practices at this time is to make sure that we're staying more buoyant than not. Because if we're getting overwhelmed by the stresses and if we're not staying present in our bodies, then it's very easy to go into total overwhelm. And that just leads us into a spiral downward that doesn't really do us any good or the people around us and our families any good. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to be doing some very simple practices that help us in our day-to-day lives to stay more resilient, to stay more present in our bodies, and to be able to process the stress that comes up in our bodies, in our emotions, as well as in our minds. So that's why we call it whole body, because we use the three centers according to the Enneagram, which is the belly center, and that's about sensation. It's the emotional center, the heart center, and it's the head center. So we want to be building resilience in those three centers, and I'm going to be sharing practices and simple, accessible ways that we can do that. It does, like any practice, like going to the gym, it's like pushing weights. It does take some time, but if you follow these practices, I think that probably in no time at all, you'll be growing your resilience. The best thing about this as well is we come together as a group, and when we come together in a group in itself, that's resilient because we are social creatures. We need each other. So when we sit in a circle together and we just feel connected, that's a form of resilience too. And in addition to that, we also learn from each other, because what resources one person might not resource another person. And the more we share our stories, the more we share about what supports us, that can inspire things in other people. So you might share something that might remind someone else, oh yeah, of course, I should be doing that too. So over and above the practices that we're going to be sharing, we'll also be learning from each other, and we'll be holding this weekly circle with the aim that we grow this community of resilience, that we have a circle that strengthens from week to week, and that we provide a space where people can come and they can know that in that space it's a time to come back to yourself, time to focus on how to build your strength and build your sense of being resourced in a time that's unprecedented. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say. What the final thing I'll say is, personally for me, why it's so important is that I recognize that when I'm in a stress response, that I just don't see ways through things. I can get very stuck in that stress. And the most important thing about being resilient for me is that I come into a place where I'm more open and receptive to life. And in that place, my intuitive capacities are on board, and I'm able to feel and find ways through things that I would otherwise not find, because I'd be in that narrow kind of fixed stress response that doesn't really give solutions, that's a fixation on problems. Whereas if I come out of that and I come into more resilience, then I'm open to intuition, and the intuition helps me to find creative lateral ways through problems or challenges that would otherwise feel or seem impossible. So that's personally for me why I think resilience is so important right now. And so again, this is open to anyone. If you have any questions, then get in touch, and I'm happy to respond to an email or even take a phone call if you feel like calling me. And hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday evening if you're in South Africa, or if you're elsewhere in the world. Just kind of line up the time zone. It's 8 o'clock South African time or 11 o'clock Pacific time. So, and if you needed more information, then I'll leave the sign up link and the Zoom details in the video below, or in the comments below. So thanks very much for watching, and hope to see you soon. Bye.